Well, before we get started, although I did just hear this is a recording, there are not nearly enough people in this room right now. So I'm going to chastise you all again. Every time we have this meeting, I say, we need more people in here. So we have about 20 maybe. We should have about 10 times that. Not that many. So please come down to the PAC if you're available, because there's plenty of seats for you and we'd love to see you in person. The evacuation procedure for this room, because we haven't done it in a long time, is if you hear the bell go off, the fire alarm, you stay put, okay? One of us will find out what the source of the situation is, and then we will provide instruction to you as to what to do. If we have to evacuate the PAC, the people that can get up and go on their own should do so first. The people that need assistance should stay put and follow our instructions, because we don't want you just automatically going down the hall, because the issue could be down by Gretchen's office or something, or by the salon. That's Gretchen's office. By the salon. We don't just want you going automatically. Got to wait for our instructions. And then we will help the people that need help evacuating. Does that make sense? Okay. I would like to just say congratulations to the winners of the Residents' Council election. I see several in the room right now. If you'd like to raise your hands. Woo! In the room are Mr. Waltz, June Feiner, Mr. Tim, and we also have Betsy Toole and Tamar, right, Tamar Oppler. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you to the nominating committee for the work in putting together a great slate of candidates. And I look forward to working with you all very soon. All right, why don't we start with Philip?
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Philip Mail. I'm the Director of Long-Term Care for the Health Center. So that's the skilled nursing facility, assisted living, and Garden View. I don't have a lot of new things to report. That's sort of an issue with the pandemic. Things move slowly, but at least positively in the right direction. As you know from Michelle's updates, our numbers, knock on anything you feel would help, have remained a big fat 0, which is just the way we like them. We're continuing to promulgate all of the various best practices and requirements that we are required to do so to keep the best infection control processes. Most of the restrictions, I would say, aren't readily felt anymore. Visitation is pretty normal. Yes, we have to wear all these things on our faces. Just even now on my way over, the bus was going out with some residents for an activity. So it's largely business as usual with some restrictions. Anyone who has any questions on those in particular, I'm happy to try to address those for you. I just wanted to say congratulations to all of you. I attended the Kaleidoscope and dropped not an insignificant amount of money there. A very talented group of people here. So thank you for all that you do. And I can say also on behalf of the entire staff of the health center, all the support, whether it's cards, letters, phone calls, gifts for towards wellness and mental health activities for the staff. It is all deeply, deeply appreciated. And often deeply, deeply needed. But we are clawing our way back in terms of staffing from already having some vacancies and then further exacerbated by the requirements of the mandate. But we've been on a hiring frenzy. We still are the place people want to be. It's sort of dog eat dog out there, and we have sheep stolen from many other facilities, and they're very happy when they get here. So sorry for them, happy for us. So we're definitely moving back in the right direction with that, along with all the considerable incentives and resources that Michelle continues to put forward to make sure that you all have all the staff that you need should it be necessary. On a personal note, I don't mind saying I will be happily growing as an administrator, because now I have the perspective, and one can only empathize until one experiences themselves. My dad is on the skilled nursing unit. He's been there a little over a week. My mother will be joining assisted living this weekend. However, she's a very good assisted living, and I hope she gets a chance to meet many of you. If any of you stop and say hello to her, I know she will deeply appreciate it. But it gives me the perspective also on what it's like to have a loved one directly. And so I value that perspective, and I pledge to grow from that. But other than that, anyone have any questions or comments? Yes, Pat.
Can you tell us when the interfaith meditation room will once again be available to the folks living in Independent?
Let me talk to the administrative nursing staff who are smarter on these issues than I am. By virtue of the fact that it takes place in the health center, it's really a location issue, to be honest, because then it falls under regulated space. So we are then bound to the issues of vaccination mandates and social distancing, and the requirement of whether we can have a gathering of X amount of people in such a square footage. So it really gets that granular sometimes when it comes to that. But let me get an update for you, Pat, on that. And selfishly, that's something my mom would love to be a part of. So I'm hoping you two speak in the near future. No pressure. Maybe a little pressure. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Irish, Director of Concierge and Communication Services. I don't have that much to talk about today, but I'll just go down my list and then take any questions if you have them. The first thing I want to talk about is something Michelle discussed yesterday during her address. She brought up that if there's any ever issues in apartments with things missing, or if there's any issues with anything, I'm just gonna I'll broaden the scope. If you see anything in the hallways, or if you see anything in your apartment missing, or if there's anything of question, do not hesitate to let us know. Again, we can't fix what we don't know is broken, and a lot of times things go weeks or months without us knowing, and we just can't fix it. So that just goes for everything. If there's issues, again, just go to the concierge desk, give me a call, give the concierge desk a call. We'll put in the work order if it's needed with maintenance. If it's something bigger, we'll figure it out. But we want to know if there's any issues with anything. This one is, as most of you know, you've all switched to Spectrum. We've just gone through a whole new phone system, which was installed last week. But one thing I did want to bring up, I know it's been in the Chanticleers, starting in the next few weeks, we're all going to have to dial those 10-digit numbers. So you'll have to put in the area code and the phone number for even local calls. Again, that's not Woodland Pond, that's not Spectrum, that's everyone is going to have to do that. So just keep your eye out for that, or your phone, and you might have to change your speed dial. If you have speed dial on there for certain people, you have to put in the area code. No, 10 digits. So the area code and then the number. So trips. I just want to mention a couple trips coming up in November. We just had trip sign up. There's 2 trips that are upcoming this upcoming month, November 6th to Rosendale. We've only got 2 people signed up currently. So that's not just for everyone in the room, for everyone at home. If you haven't put your sheet in yet to Concierge for any outings coming in November, make sure you get your sheets in. Again, we've only got 2 people signed up for the Rosendale trip on November 6th, and we have to order tickets for that. And then November 19th, we want to go bowling. So if anyone wants to go bowling, sign up. There's only 1 person so far. So let's get some people down for that. Another thing with trips, if you buy your own tickets, we know there's residents that are members for like the Bardavon or the Met Live. If you have your own tickets, make sure you let the concierge desk know, or we don't want to have to order extra tickets and then scramble to find people last minute. So if you have your own tickets for any trips, let us know, so we can, plan that accordingly. The last thing I'll mention about trips is this has been in the Chanticleer too, and everyone should know, but make sure you have your vaccination card, photo ID, and a mask on every outing you go on. A lot of venues are requesting it, and not demanding, but they're all asking for you to have it. So just make sure everyone has it on an outing. That's all I really have to talk about. Any questions about anything? No? Anything else you want me to talk about? Oh, yeah. Oh, that I moved. I did want to say this too. I did have it on my list. I forgot. Michelle brought it up to me. So if for those of you who don't know, when I started working here, I started upstairs behind the concierge desk. Then I moved to an office down the hall where Dedrick's is. Then for the last 2.5, 3 years, I've been in the basement with the facilities department. Just this week, I've moved back upstairs. So you'll probably see more of me up on the main level. But I'm happy to be back upstairs. I'm happy to see all the residents again. And, if you're looking for me, you'll have an easier time finding me. All right. Thank you.
Let's see, very briefly, Cameron, can you just come up here for a second so I can introduce you? Just come stand next to me. For those that have not yet met Cameron, Cameron Ilgner is an intern that she's working with me. She's been with us since June. She's learning the ropes about what it means to run a CCRC. She's finishing up her master's at Hofstra right now. So you'll see her in the office quite a bit. Philip has graciously agreed to allow this relationship to extend, and Cameron will be doing an administrator in training stint with Philip starting in January. And so that is one of the steps that New York State requires for people that eventually hope to seek a licensed nursing home administrator's license. Philip currently has and is facilitating an administrator in training program with another young woman named Heather Green. So you'll see her around as well. So we're just, trying to cultivate the youth of America to come into senior living. So everyone say hi to Cameron. Hi, everyone. Anything you'd like to add?
Even though I've been here, I'm very excited to continue and learn more. So if anybody is interested in meeting up, I would love to meet more of you.
That's right. Yes, Cameron's helped a lot of the committees, and she helped out enormously with the guest suite turnover. So thanks, Cam. All right, Rob.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robert Dunn, Director of Environmental Services. A couple of things I wanted to touch on. I know Michelle had mentioned in the address about pests. We have had them lately with, kind of the late warm weather we had in October. So give us a call as soon as you see those issues that we're having in the apartments. And don't wait on that because they can get out of control rather quickly on us. So let me know. And if I need to bring in pest control on a separate trip, I can do that. You'll also see a couple new housekeepers coming your way. If you haven't seen them already, Myrna started a couple of weeks ago and Anna just started her training. Some of you will see them on a permanent basis when they're done with their training for housekeeping. Great housekeepers. So give them your best and, welcome them to the community as well. All right. I don't really have anything else. I know you're all very disappointed that I am not moving upstairs. Tom is very disappointed I'm not moving upstairs, but go ahead. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Jason's a little slow.
Were you responsible for having the chrome railing in the swimming pool area cleaned?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? No? Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, I'm Tom Tango, Director of Plan Operations. A few things. Annually, or about now, we talk about snow. And so we'll talk about snow. Last week, I met with Will, the owner of Gonzalez Landscaping, and we had our annual snow discussion. Those of you remember last year, the snow season didn't start off well. It started off with a lot of snow and there were a few issues with the contractor. They got squared away. To their credit, I met with them, we had a lot of discussion, and they improved greatly and rapidly, and they stayed there. And the changes that they put in place last year are still in place, and personnel and equipment, procedures, everything will be back as soon as it snows again. That doesn't mean that the first storm, there won't be some learning curves, but I fully expect that this season will be just, will be segueing right off the end of the season last year. Everything went well. With that being said, I just want to remind a couple things. Prior to a storm, we will endeavor to make sure that we have the notifications up at the doors and everywhere else, showing that it's time to put your cars in what we're calling snow parking. And the map that we put up will show red and green areas of where we don't want cars parking and where we do want cars parking. And that's important so that as the snow comes down, we can keep areas cleaner. And then as soon as the snow stops, we can provide certain areas better, quicker. Also, the other thing I need people to do is when you're parking, and the map will show it, I need not to, when you park your car, don't leave any empty spaces. Like if you're coming to park your car, park next to somebody, because empty spaces, they can't plow too well. The other thing that created a little confusion last year, I know some people, it's still lingering. Woodland Pond, when it snows, the snow removal company, we will shovel in between cars. We don't move cars. We clean the top of the car off, and we clean between the cars. Last year, we had there was like a 3-day period. We got 20 inches of snow, and that event, we had to move cars, and we asked a lot of you to move cars. We moved a lot of your cars because that was the only way we were going to clear that snow, and it didn't turn to ice. I can't say we're not going to do that again. We will if we get that much snow. But in general, as a standard operating practice, no, residents do not need to move cars to clean up for a snowstorm. But again, doesn't mean you might not have to. And it doesn't mean you can't move them if you want, but the snow contractor will be cleaning in between the cars, just as we always have. It's also important that we know whose car is whose. If we crash into it, we need to know who to stay away from. So we need to know whose car that is. So we know, what to do, and what if a car has to be moved for whatever reason. So if you have a new car, make sure that we know it. Go to Concierge and tell them, and we'll keep track of whose car is whose. So again, I think snow should go well this year, and I'm sure we'll make adjustments as we need to go. Good point. If you have a car here and you haven't started it in a while, now's a good time to start it. If it doesn't start, or if you have a car here that hasn't started and you're just not able to go start it, call Concierge and put a work order in, and we'll send someone to do it. We'll get it started and make sure it runs so that if in the event you do have to move it, it'll start. Last year, we had a few that on that and we had 3 feet of snow, we had a couple cars that didn't start. And we had to get them going. So yeah, it's a good thing to do. If you have any debris, or let's say you're cleaning up outside your apartment or your cottage, if you have any debris, miscellaneous, anything, clippings or anything, put a work order in and we'll come get it. Can't guarantee we're going to get it that day, but put a work order in and we'll come get it. I just want to get things out of there, especially with the impending weather, I don't want things freezing out there and blowing around. So if you are cleaning up outside, let us know. And if you need things taken away, put a work order in, we'll come get it. The other thing is, I don't have a date yet, but I've been communicating with the New Paltz Police. We will be having another active shooter drill. We had one a couple of years ago. We didn't do one last year. And this year, now we have a few more tools at our disposal than we ever had. We have a much better notification system. We have a new telephone system. We have a lot of ways of letting the community know what to do. I don't have a date for you, and prior to doing it, I'll have much more notification. But we are going to be having a shooter drill, and what that means is we'll be pretending there's an active shooter, and the shooter drill will be conducted by the police. The police department will be here, doing it, and then make sure that we know what to do should that happen. They know what to do should that happen, and so we'll be going through that. Last thing I have before I take questions is if anybody here knows of anybody, or if you're in line in the store, talk to everybody near you. I need an HVAC technician and a painter. So if you see people walking around with paint on their clothes and you're at a store, ask them if they need a job as a painter. Or if you see them fixing an air conditioner, ask them if they need a job. I need to fill those spots. So we're interviewing, but it would be good if we had more applications. So if you know anybody, let us know. With that, any questions?
Tom, regarding the snow maps that you post,
Right.
last year, a number of newer residents had difficulty reading the maps, and we have a lot more newer residents this year. Could you put the number of each parking lot on the map so that they can get their bearings?
Good idea.
Thank you.
Question
Mhm.
is, what are the big trucks doing with our light posts today?
Oh, nothing. But the big trucks are wrong direction. Today we're cleaning the drains, all the storm drains. The storm drains, it's a big complex system of underground pipes and drains so that when water comes down, be it snow or rain, it drains away from the property through a series of pipes down to the retention pond. We have been having increasingly more and more water come into the building downstairs from groundwater. So we have this, so this company's in, and they're clearing all of the storm drainage system, all the pipes, all the catch basins, and it's going to take about 3 days. They'll be here all day today and 2 more days in the next coming weeks. And what that'll do is any water that comes down from the roof will definitely get down to the retention pond. I don't know, and I can't state that in doing that, we solve all our groundwater problems, but it's the first step in solving them, is to make sure all that's clean. It's never been done. They're pulling out some stuff today that I don't know how it got there, but it's there. And they're clearing, they vacuum out. Oops. They vacuum out the catch basins, and then they hydrojet, like it's a hose that goes down the pipes that squirts high pressure water, and it cleans the inside of the pipes. So that's what they're doing. So you might have seen them right near a light post, but they're not. It's nothing to do with that. Let me put it this way. I hope they didn't do anything with light posts.
Tom, I have a question.
Yeah.
Trimming around the cottages and behind the fence.
Yes.
I've got flowers all across the fence. They never go behind and trim unless I go out and literally grab them and say, over there.
Right. There's 24 cottages. There's 26 different things that people want and ways they want it. And we're willing to do whatever each cottage person wants. So I would say the best thing is, like I always say, put a work order in explaining what you want and when you want it, and we'll do it. Because on the cottages, there's people that, we take care of the beds. There's other people, we don't touch the beds. There's people that we put mulch down, there's other people we don't. So it's, and I don't know right here, like, what we do on each one, but we'll do whatever it is you want. Just let us know.
All I'm asking for is to trim both sides of the fence.
Right, but we have people that are very insistent. We don't touch anything near the fence. We have other people that are very insistent. We
Okay.
don't touch anything on the other side of the fence. So whatever anybody wants, we'll do. Just tell us. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm much shorter, sorry. So I'm gonna piggyback on Tom to start. If you also know anybody that wants to wash dishes, we need dishwashers, okay? Grandkids, anybody you say. Okay, so I have a couple of new announcements, and I also have some stuff that may have been discussed already. So some of you may have seen Ruth. She's our new, she's a waitress, but her task is going to be solely reservations and putting in room service orders and seating you for dinner. She'll be here Monday through Friday, and she is picking up the tasks very quickly, and she's doing a phenomenal job. So please welcome her when you come to dinner. Some reminders, brunch has started last week. We got some great input that the meals were very good this past Sunday. Reminder that we're doing 2 reservations, 12 o'clock and 12:30. Anybody has questions on brunch, or there's something that we're not serving and you'd like to see, please let us know. I think this will put some smile on some people's faces. Next Monday, the burgers will be back for dinner. I heard a couple woos. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but Monday, our staffing in the kitchen is really good now. We have some great new cooks that started, and we're ready to bring those burgers back to dinner. So for November, we had some meetings today, and actually throughout the entire week. Come November 1st, we are going to shorten the pub hours, and we're just by an hour. We're not gonna stay open until 3 o'clock anymore. We're gonna close at 2. We will put an announcement up at the pub. I'll also have it in the Chanticleer, and we're just not doing that many customers from 2 to 3 o'clock. So, and it also comes with the next announcement is that we're going to reinstate happy hour on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, I got an O in the crowd there. For those of you who are new, please come Tuesdays and Thursdays. The dining room, we set up wine and beer at the pub. Once a month, it's complimentary. Woodland Pond, provides everything. And then the other Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's there for you to purchase to put on your decline. But we definitely need some new residents. It's a great way to meet some of your fellow residents. Again, that'll be announced. Okay, we will announce all that. Yes, there is juice, there is soda, there is non-alcoholic beer available for those that don't want to partake in the alcohol part. Some of you may have seen, and it's been a topic for the last couple of months, is the vegetables and starches offered at dinner time. We took a look at that and we made some changes last week. You'll see some more variety on the menu in the dining room. I think it also ties into the room service, but you'll see some changes there. And to add on to that, I think the date that we're shooting for is November 8th will be our new cycle menu. So there'll be some new menu items coming out. Just keep an eye. We're going to announce all this stuff. There's a lot of things changing in our department, so I will announce everything. I have 2 more announcements. Holidays are coming very, very quickly. In case you guys didn't realize, I think someone just announced it's 11 weekends before Christmas. I can't believe that. But for us here, it's a huge part of what we do. Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, and Christmas. We're going to do it the old way. Pre-COVID, bring your family. Obviously, they need to be vaccinated. We will put announcements out how you make reservations with us. We are also going to dedicate a specific time and section of our dining room for just residents. So those of you who may not have family coming in or going to visit family and you want to eat with your fellow colleagues, we will have a specific, say it's a 3 o'clock dining room. You make your single reservation or, whatever it is. And we will seat you with some other people for the holidays. Again, I will put all of this in a memo for you because it's definitely a lot, okay? The last thing that is hot off the press, Michelle and I just met, I think maybe an hour ago. We are going to trial for a full week, a non-reservation system for the dining room, okay? It's going to come with rules and how we have to operate, but we're going to trial it for a week. Again, I will give you full details on how that's going to work. But essentially we will have time slots. We can only seat a certain amount of tables at each time slot. And once that slot is full, you have to wait for the next slot. But if we plan this correctly and we all work together on this, I think we can do this. Okay. So I'm going to put a lot of thought into how we can do this as a community. I don't want to do reservations and I don't think you want to do reservations, right? No. But I have to have a little bit of control in the dining room. Otherwise we go back to where we were and we were serving meals, an hour and a half into service. And I don't want to do that. So we're going to run a trial. I'll have the, full details on that. That's pretty much all I have. Did I miss anything, Michelle? No, it's a lot. Okay. So I'm going to be next week, hopefully I'll be done with training with Ruth this week. I'm going to work with her on Monday. And then next week, I'm going to type all this out and put a memo out. And obviously, if there's any questions, ask me. If you have Michelle knows, everything that I know. So with that, I open any questions for you. Okay. Wow. I know. It's a lot of info.
If you guys want to go, you can, unless somebody wants to stay to do mics. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to release the staff so they can go do some work. If one of you could just stay so that I can do the mic in case I have any questions. So I just want to encourage, I have a few things I want to just cover, but I would really want to encourage any questions that you have, any comments, especially on topics that maybe I don't bring up. This is supposed to be interactive. I want to be a resource to all of you. So please just go ahead and ask the questions that you might have. So we have the free store going on right now, or a lot of you have donated items to the free store. I'd like to just say thank you for that. We've had a couple of staff members coming through and organizing. There's a lot of wonderful things in there, and I know that our staff will be very appreciative. They're very appreciative of everything that the residents do. I don't think that, I know Philip started to say, but I think it's sort of hard to impart how challenging it is to be especially a lower wage earner right now, because the costs of everything are just escalating so rapidly. So gasoline is rising rapidly, the cost of home heating fuel, purchasing clothing, purchasing groceries, purchasing toiletries. Transportation is hard. So all of these little things that may not seem like they're a lot, they really mean a huge amount to the staff. So when you're hearing Ronnie say that we're having luck in recruiting, or Philip saying that we have less vacancies, you're a huge part of creating the culture that's here at Woodland Pond, because all of the gifts that you give, the kindnesses, they all actually result in the staff wanting to be here. So we do have staff that leave. 99% of the time, if they've left by their own personal choice, they come back. We have a lot of boomerang. And, we encourage people to go explore other options if they feel compelled, but we're relatively confident that they're going to come back, and typically they do. So I want to just thank you all for all that you do to help us be able to recruit and retain staff, because we can't do it on our own. And it's not always just about rates of pay. The staff understand we're a not-for-profit organization. We can't just write blank checks in terms of wages, but all of the things that you do to support the staff are greatly appreciated. And I can tell you, this kind of thing does not happen anywhere else. Doesn't even happen at other senior living communities. So you're doing a huge part in helping us bring in the staff that then help you. So it's very symbiotic. And I just want to thank you all for that. The next thing is I have, and I haven't had a chance to tell you this yet, but I'm going to be strengthening our policy in the independent living section related to unvaccinated visitors. This thing has a lot of feedback today for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's my necklace. We're going to be asking unvaccinated visitors to double mask. And also to stay out of community spaces as much as possible. So to come basically screen in at Concierge, double mask, and then head straight to their destination. We have very low COVID rates, knock on wood, right now across the state. It's less than 3% positivity. We still have a situation where a lot of our visitors are youth, children. And I know how much you've all enjoyed seeing the young members of your families. And right now, a lot of them are not qualified to be able to be vaccinated. So we're trying to just balance the line between giving everyone access to their families and also doing it safely. So currently unvaccinated visitors, all visitors are asked to wear masks. I don't know that we're enforcing it as much as we should, Jason. So we'll work on enforcement related to mask wearing across campus. Unvaccinated visitors are identified at Concierge when they come in. Someone's unvaccinated or if they're vaccinated, but can't show proof of vaccination, they will be asked to double mask. Jason, I've got information on this, and I'm going to be changing the signage on the front door so that visitors coming in know that right from the start. If you're vaccinated, here's what you have to do. If you're unvaccinated, here's what you have to do. Certainly no unvaccinated people are welcome in the dining room at this point in time. And we have a system with Concierge where Concierge notifies when the guests are coming in, and we strengthened this a little bit yesterday, maybe the day before. They will be asking every guest that comes in addition to, are you vaccinated or not, they will be asking them if they have a dinner reservation. If they have a dinner reservation, obviously, they're going to be tracking that information and communicating it to hostess so that they have, a match between what hostess has for a reservation. Now, we'll have to think about that a little bit with no reservations. I think guests are going to have reservations no matter what. So we'll have to talk about that with Ronnie. Sorry, I'm thinking as we're talking. Because of that issue, I think all guests are still going to need a reservation. Even if we move away from reservations, I think guests are going to have to, so that we can make sure that they're vaccinated. So we're working on strengthening some of that. We are at the point now, that the vaccine mandate was in effect. The first dose, all staff members need to have had their first dose of a vaccine by September 27th. So all of the staff that are here on campus have had at least one dose, and all are in the process of having their second, depending on whether they have Moderna or Pfizer. It's either 4 weeks or 3 weeks in between, and then they're considered to be fully vaccinated 2 weeks after. I think everybody knows that. We have no guidance at this point from the state as to how the booster will play into the vaccine mandate, because the booster is still, I think I saw something just maybe half an hour ago that said it's going to now be recommended or at least approved that people can mix which vaccine and which booster they get, potentially provide some different type of protection. So we're still kind of working through this. And I know that a lot of you have questions about the booster. I just don't have great answers for you at this time. I don't want to give bad information. I'm not trying to kick the can on this, but the guidance keeps changing. So the best thing I can do is just recommend that you do speak to your primary care physician if you're interested in getting a booster sooner than later. I think, well, Christy's not here. So Christy's out of the office, but the business office moved. I think you're probably all aware of that now. The business office is now 2 parts. It's Christy's office and then billing. And they are in the spaces that were the old conference room. So that's where you'll find the folks for billing and Christy. And then Jason is in Christy's old office. The cubicles that are in the admin office are going to be used by floating staff members. So we have staff members that come in and work on a Monday and a Wednesday. They don't need a full office, but they need to have a desk when they're here. So you're going to see there will be computer setups there, and then you'll see different people sitting there for those positions. I think the last thing I just want to mention before I take any questions is that Cassidy, whom you all know, you haven't seen her around probably too much here in independent living. And that is because she has had an opportunity to provide coverage for us in our medical records department. One of our medical records coordinator actually is a certified nurse's assistant. And she decided to take one of our vacancies as a nursing assistant. She just really felt interested in doing that direct care again. So she has resigned her position as the medical records coordinator. So Cassidy, who, as many of you know, is very capable, very driven. She's actually helping assist in the medical records department, and she's performing unit clerk responsibilities in assisted living. So if you are in the health center and you know want to say hi to Cassidy, you'll see her over there, and she is still doing drips and drabs of a resident technology assistant. So if you have something that you think Cassidy might be able to help you with, you can ask Jason, and maybe we can pull her over for a little bit. So that's where Cassidy's been spending her days lately. All right, I guess I'll take any questions or comments that anyone has.
Michelle, we haven't heard anything about the people that are out on religious exemption.
Mhm.
And what is their status? Are they coming back?
So we currently have 2 staff members that have approved medical exemptions for the vaccine. Both are temporary. And both have been given a reasonable accommodation that Woodland Pond can offer. That's the requirement. So for each of these exemption requests, whether it be medical or religious, the typical process is they submit the request for the exemption. We review it in accordance with whatever the applicable law is. And then we either say, yes, this is approved or not. And if it is approved, and the person, is exempt from the mandate, we have to give them some sort of a reasonable accommodation to be able to continue their employment. So we do have 2 medical exemptions currently in that status. We had 8 staff members that submitted requests for a religious exemption across campus, 3 in independent living and 5 in the health center. All of those exemption requests at this point have been reviewed. 3 have been approved. 1 was denied. 4 are pending. And all of those people remain in employment. So no one has lost their positions. So they're all still currently employed. If they do not have an ability to work with the reasonable accommodation we are able to offer, they will remain in a leave of absence status until they can take a different position that maybe they're interested in where they can have the reasonable accommodation. I think Halima's got a second follow-up question.
Part 2, will they be allowed to have direct resident or patient face to face?
So at this time, the reasonable accommodation that we can offer for someone that is in a resident-facing role, so that's almost everybody on campus, unless they're strictly in an office and kind of working just with other staff members. So anyone that works with residents one-on-one, the reasonable accommodation that we are able to offer them at this time is to work remotely. But that doesn't work for a lot of the positions because they're hands-on. So they are remaining in a protected status for their position, but not on the schedule. If we have work from home work to give them, and they are interested in taking that, we are making those accommodations. So we will give them access to a computer at home or work at home, and they can do that. But our decision is that we do not want unvaccinated people working with residents at this time. Other communities are making different decisions. We at this time are not comfortable having unvaccinated folks working on campus. So we're not by any means terminating or relinquishing their employment, but they're in basically a leave of absence status until, either they take a position where they can do some at-home work or they choose to rescind their religious exemption request. So that's where we're at right now. Yes, Ray. Hold on.
I assume those people that are on leave of absence are not being paid.
So what we have decided to do is we are actually allowing those staff to utilize and be paid for any accrued paid time off that they have in their banks, which also helps them pay for any benefits that they may want to continue. So, all are receiving some sort of paycheck. It depends on how much accrued benefit time that they have. So as long as those people remain and do not resign their positions, those people that are on the leave of absence will be eligible for the employee gift, the appreciation gift, based on the hours that they worked on the clock up until, the date that their leave of absence started. So I know a number of you have asked that question. If they choose to resign their position before the gift is paid, then they would, lose access to it. And we've made that clear to them in hopes that they choose to remain in the leave of absence status so that they may partake in that.
Do I understand correctly that now all visitors will be asked when they enter the building to show proof of vaccination with a photo ID or have an instant test?
We will not be instant testing anyone.
Okay.
That is a cost that I don't feel need to be borne by the community right now. They can be extremely expensive,
Yeah.
and our supplies that were being provided by the state are not being provided anymore. So we're paying as much as $100 per test. It's too much.
But everybody coming in is asked to show a proof of vaccination card with a photo ID?
We're not currently requiring proof of vaccination except for those going to the dining room, but I will consider it. I don't object to it. We're just not currently doing it. So Jason and I can talk about it. And I understand that. I don't anticipate that there would be any pushback from it, but Jason, you and I can talk about that. The question is being asked, of course, and the people that are eating in the dining room are required to show their proof of vaccination. But for general visitors not going to the dining room, we have not been asking for proof. So I will talk to the team about that, and we can go from there. Who else wants to say something or ask me something? No one? Did everybody meet Mr. and Mrs. Gilder, the new residents that are sitting behind you? Welcome. Can you just pull your masks down so everyone can see your face? Oh, hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the meeting. You have a lot of neighbors that are not here right now, and I plan to chastise them all. Okay, so tonight, 7 o'clock, there's going to be an amazing event in here, live music. If you want to attend, that would be wonderful. I don't know that we've had this yet. I don't think we've had Marcia Gates back since before COVID. So if you've missed this or you haven't caught Marcia Gates and her ensemble, I would highly recommend coming tonight at 7. You can always watch Jeopardy another time, okay? All right, everybody. Thank you.